Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 371.
On Now You Know.
Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this episode.
Secure your digital life with this user-friendly virtual private network.
Surfshark VPN keeps you safe and private by covering up everything you do online.
When your device connects to the internet, the details and your information are in a way blurred out.
So no one will be able to see what you're doing or where you're doing it all from.
It's great to know that you're keeping your digital freedom and security even while you're using unprotected networks like public Wi-Fi.
And a VPN can be a great way to save money.
Of course, you won't get a discount just for connecting to a VPN.
But you can save on several things online that track your search history or location to set prices, like flights, hotel rooms, or items with one-time seasonal discounts.
Another feature that we really like is Surfshark removes all cookie and consent pop-ups from the websites that you visit on Chrome and Firefox.
And you can also use Surfshark on unlimited devices. We set up one Surfshark account and we can use it for all of our devices.
You can try out Surfshark and see what it has to offer, and if it's not the perfect fit, no worries, there is a money-back guarantee.
Get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deals/NYK. And use the promo code NYK for 3 extra months for free.
Step right up, don't be shy. Hey, you young lad, how'd you like a chance to win a Tesla Model Y long range?
Me? Sure. What do I have to do, mister?
It's easy, see? You just refer someone to buy a Tesla with your referral code, and if they buy a Tesla, you get 10,000 referral credits. It only takes 1,000 credits to enter the sweepstakes for this here Model Y.
Gee willikers. So that means I can enter 10 times?
That's right, you're a smart kid.
So Tesla gave away a Model 3 Performance last week, although they haven't yet announced who won it for some reason. The drawing for this Model Y runs through January 5th.
Now, I wish that we had some data on how many people are using the Tesla referral program.
I mean, it would be kind of dumb for new customers not to be using the referral code to buy a car because the buyer gets, $500 off a Model 3 or Y, $1,000 off a Model S or X, plus 3 months of FSD, and the referrer gets Tesla credits.
So you think every car sold means a new person in the Tesla referral program?
And it's not just cars. I mean, you can save $500 off solar roof, solar panels, just by using someone's referral code.
And I think that's why the sweepstakes are so smart for Tesla. It gets people to spend their Tesla credits, but Tesla only has to give away one car at a time.
And don't forget about the Cybertruck sweepstakes, too.
And one truck at a time.
Yeah, good point. Because you can also spend your credits on lots of fun things like Tesla wall connectors, bike racks, roof racks, CCS adapters, solar license plate frames, pet liners, illuminated door sills, all-weather interior liners, and center console trays.
Right, but those cost Tesla more money than a sweepstake, I bet.
Yeah, because if practically everyone buying a car or solar is using a code, then there's probably hundreds of thousands of referral members.
Yo, check it out. Rolling down the boulevard, black, white, and blue. Every red gets dull. What's a Tesla to do? Rap, baby, rap. Cover up in style. Slipstream quiet down the Miracle Mile.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about wraps, baby.
This is a Tesla channel.
Tesla's now selling vehicle wraps for the Model 3 and Y.
Oh, you mean wraps with a W. So, we know that Tesla's been doing this in China for a while now.
Yes, but Tesla is now offering wraps in the US. As Tesla describes it, wrap your Model 3 or Y in one of our premium color wraps, only available through Tesla, offered in 7 exclusive colors. The self-healing urethane-based film protects the paint beneath from chips, scratches, and swirling.
Okay, so what are the colors and prices?
Well, for $7,500, there's the Slip Gray, the Satin Ceramic White, the Satin Stealth Black. And for $8,000, there's the Glacier Blue, the Forest Green, the Satin Rose Gold, and the Crimson Red. Tesla also offers a clear wrap for $5,000 in gloss or satin finish, but unlike the color wraps, the clear wrap doesn't include the door jambs.
All right.
Well, hang on. If you're getting up because you think you're going to get your Model 3 wrapped, sit back down.
But the colors look so cool.
Well, unless you're planning on using a time machine and driving to California, you're not going to be able to get one of these wraps.
Why not?
Currently, Tesla says it's only offering the service at 2 service centers, one in West Covina and the other in Carlsbad, although I guess Tesla is hiring subcontractors in Costa Mesa and Santa Clara as well, but still, they're all in California. Secondly, wraps are only available for 2023 and later models of Model 3 and Y. Tesla says it should take 5 to 7 days, and they won't be giving you a loaner while the wrap is applied.
Okay, so
your 2018 Model 3 is not eligible. I guess it's too dirty.
Is that why, or is it because the shape has changed slightly and they have these custom cut wraps already?
I don't know. Part of me feels like it could be shape. Let me know. I don't know much about wraps. I feel like it could be shape, but I think it's more likely, since they do heat it and shrink it.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
I feel like it's more that it has to be applied to like a new paint job.
But I mean, couldn't I have bought my car, driven it through the mud, and then brought it there, and then they have to clean it? And...
Yeah, let us know in the comments. I'm not a big wrap expert. I think this is a huge profit generator for Tesla because these are not cheap wraps, and I'm sure they're making a lot of money on them. Also, I think it's great to have new colors on the roads.
Yeah, I mean, it really helps to advertise for Tesla. But on the other hand, this is extraordinarily expensive. Like normally, if you want to get your car wrapped, it's in the
like $3,000,
$3,000 range. Yeah. So this is a clear premium.
Well, but these are urethane wraps. I've been reading a lot of stuff in the forums that vinyl wraps don't really self-heal, whereas urethane wraps do. I don't know.
Does it really matter?
Let us know down below if you want to get one.
We've seen plenty of wrapped Teslas. They all look amazing. And I mean, none of them were done by Tesla themselves. Right. So I don't know. If you're going like, oh, yarn, there's probably some guy nearby you who will spend the hours it takes to wrap your car.
Yeah.
You just got to pay him less than you'd pay Tesla.
And you pretty much have to live in California.
Well, yeah, well.
All right, so you want a cool Tesla product, but you don't want to spend $8,000 on a wrap? Then how about this?
Is this a sound system?
Here, I'll show you with the white background so you can see it better. It's the Tesla CyberBeer CyberStein limited edition set for $150. Tesla states each bottle features a gloss black sleeve with a CyberBeer watermark that looks even better chilled. The two matte black CyberBeer Steins were glazed and fired to mirror the form of Cybertruck and finished with a gloss interior and signature Tesla logo. Are they wrapped? The beer appears to be a Hell's Lager brewed by the Buzzrock Brewing Company in Torrance, California.
So will the Steins fit into the Cybertruck cup holders?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
All right, so let's log in here and let's see.
Is it still available?
It is as of recording the show. So
wow.
As of yesterday, you can buy it.
Good Christmas present, I guess. I don't know.
For the cyber beer lover in your life. Yeah.
Look, so I guess if things don't work out for Tesla as an automotive, solar, energy, insurance, robo-taxi company, they can always fall back on being a brewery. So Tesla started by opening some version 4 superchargers in Europe, and now we're getting reports that Tesla is opening 3 in the United States.
So remember that version 3 superchargers can charge up to 250 kilowatts. Version 4 superchargers can charge up to 350 kilowatts.
Although remember that the manufacturer plate on the side shows that version 4s have a rated output of 1,000 volts and 615 amps. Multiply those two numbers together, you get 615 kilowatts. So in theory, version 4 superchargers may be able to charge at even faster speeds, but Tesla has stated that you're right. Right now it's 350 kilowatts.
Also, version 4 superchargers have longer charging cables, which should make Cybertruck charging easier.
So the first location was spotted in Wilsonville, Oregon by Tesla Motors Club member PDX M3s.
Another version 4 supercharger location has been spotted in Prattville, Alabama by Corey Johnson.
And lastly, thanks to Real Poke Pop on Reddit, the Sparks, Nevada version 3 supercharger location is being updated to version 4, and it appears to be getting Magic Dock 2.
So non-Teslas should be able to charge here as well.
Yeah, so it's offline right now, so you can't supercharge there while they're doing the work.
But this means that you can have a version 4 with Magic Dock.
Right. I assume... Yes, maybe. Someone go charge there and tell us. So Elon reposted Tesla's X post that just built our 20 millionth 4680 cell at Giga, Texas.
Now, this is faster than I expected.
Yeah, there are about 900 4680 cells in a Model Y, roughly. So even though 20 million sounds like a big number, that would only be about 22,000 Model Ys worth of 4680s built at Giga, Texas. But don't get me wrong, that's still awesome. Using a little spreadsheet I put together, I tracked Tesla's rate of 4680 production. We've only got 2 data points, but it's very impressive. So it took Tesla 997 days to get to the first 10 millionth 4680. Now, only 117 days later, we get to the second 10 millionth.
So according to your spreadsheet, up until June 16th, when Tesla produced their first 10 millionth 4680s, Tesla was making only enough 4680s for about 11 Model Ys per day.
Yes, but now according to my very rough calculations, don't yell at me in the comments, Tesla is making enough 4680s for 95 Model Ys per day. Now, obviously, many of these 4680s will be going into Cybertruck production, and Cybertruck may be using about twice the number of cells as a Model Y, but at least this gives us some sense of the scale, because I think hearing about 20 million of something is just too much for my brain.
So how many days do you think it'll be before Tesla gets to their next 10 millionth 4680? Comment down below.
I think before Christmas.
Really? Yeah.
So do you remember this photo?
Yeah, I think we reported on this back in 2019. Remind me what it is?
So these are the remains of a burned up Model X on frozen Lake Champlain in Vermont.
Jesus, how long I figured this has been in the ice?
And at the time, we had no idea how it got there or why it was incinerated.
Those Norwegians blew it up. Yeah.
So I'm assuming now we do?
Yes, it turns out, according to the U.S. Secret Service and the Vermont Department of Motor Vehicles, that it was allegedly part of a criminal scheme by Michael A. Gonzalez, a 34-year-old man from Shelburne, Vermont. According to the indictment filed in the case, between September of 2018 and January of 2021, Gonzalez obtained 5 Tesla vehicles worth a total of approximately $600,000 from dealerships in New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, and Florida. For each vehicle, Gonzalez made an initial payment of approximately $2,500 and then arranged for electronic fund transfers to cover the balance of the vehicle's price from accounts with insufficient funds or from fictitious accounts. Gonzalez took delivery of the vehicles from Tesla before Tesla discovered his failure to complete the final payments. Gonzalez resold or attempted to resell 4 of the 5 vehicles.
Okay, so I get that he bought 5 Teslas without paying for them.
It's just money. It's made up.
But what I don't get is this Model X burned up on a frozen lake. I mean, why did he do that?
All right, so this was from the 5th Tesla that Gonzalez bought, but he had trouble selling it. I'm guessing because Tesla was on to him by then.
You want to buy some Teslas?
You don't want to sell me Teslas.
I don't want to sell you Teslas.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
So he torched it and filed for the insurance money, which it appeared he didn't get, according to court documents, because he failed to appear twice to give a statement under oath to Geico Insurance.
So what's going to happen to Gonzalez?
According to the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Vermont, on October 11th, Michael Gonzalez was sentenced by Chief United States District Judge Jeffrey Crawford to a term of 48 months imprisonment to be followed by a 3-year term of supervised release. Gonzalez previously pleaded guilty to 5 counts of possessing and disposing of stolen vehicles that had crossed state lines. So Gonzalez had been in jail since October of 2022. Gonzalez is also ordered to repay Tesla $493,000 and forfeit $292,000 to the United States. Gonzalez made $231,000 by selling these stolen Teslas to unwitting purchasers.
Buyer beware, huh?
Yeah, and according to court documents, he allegedly co-opted a girlfriend he had abused to sign the paperwork for 2 of the 5 fake purchases. There's more, but I'm trying to keep this week's show positive. You can read more about the case in the Bennington banner. We'll put the link down below. So last week, Tesla started posting jobs in South America and Mexico, including this one for a country manager in Mexico.
And this one for a general manager in Chile.
Along with sales managers and service technician positions all throughout Latin America. That's really cool.
That is exciting.
First time.
All right, so we asked in last week's Patreon poll if people had seen any Tesla ads.
97% of you said no, and the 3% that said yes, many of you mentioned in the comments that they were counting X posts. We do know that ever since the Tesla annual shareholders meeting on May 16th, Tesla has dipped its toe into advertising and has been running about 300 different ads on Google.
Now travelers in Japan have spotted this display at the Haneda Airport in Tokyo.
And Elon's like, okay, are you satisfied now? So remember way back in August, Jesse, when we reported that Tesla had bought German wireless charging company Wiferion in June?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Tesla has already sold Wiferion to power electronic supplier Pulse. As Pulse states on their website, wireless charging specialist Wiferion becomes our new business unit, Pulse Wireless. Wiferion customers will benefit from our engineering resources and global presence in production and application support.
Why would Tesla buy a wireless charging company in June and then sell it in October?
Well, according to Mike Oitzman, founder of the Mobile Robot Guide, Tesla will retain the Wiferion engineering team. They are not included in the deal. Pulse will take over all existing contracts, trademarks, and patents, plus Wiferion's sales, marketing, and support teams, which will transition into a new Pulse Wireless division that will be located in Germany.
Okay, so Tesla just acquired the company just to steal their engineering team?
Yeah, my guess is that they're ready to do some next level wireless stuff for cars and robots. And here you get a team that's already built and it's proven effective.
But you don't get to take any of the patents or any of the technology.
My guess is they didn't really need them.
You just need the team that already did it.
And maybe you go to the next level with it.
It's an interesting way to hire people away from a company.
Yeah.
You know what, Joe? Don't worry about it. We're just going to buy your company, and then you're going to be working for us anyway. So it appears that Tesla has already started deliveries of the updated Model Y that's being made at Giga Shanghai.
According to local Chinese media, the upgraded Model Y has begun deliveries just over 2 weeks after having been unveiled.
The refreshed Model Y includes a similar LED lighting strip to the refreshed Model 3, the removed wood trim on the dash, the slightly faster acceleration of 5.9 seconds of 0 to 60, plus the black Gemini wheels.
Now, it's only available in China at the moment, and Tesla so far has kept this base level Model Y the same price as the previous version at 263,900 won, or about $36,130. So according to new data out from Cox Automotive, U.S. electric vehicle sales accounted for 7.9% of total industry sales in Q3, a record, and up from 6.1% a year ago and 7.2% in Q2. Total EV sales in Q3, according to an estimate from Kelley Blue Book, hit 313,086, a 49.8% increase from the same period 1 year ago, and an increase from the 298,000 sold in Q2.
Okay, all this quarterly data makes my head spin. How many EVs have been sold in the US so far this year?
Cox Automotive answered that quite nicely in their report. Year-to-date EV sales through September reached just over 873,000, putting the market firmly on track to surpass 1 million for the first time ever. The milestone will likely be reached in November. Now, I should mention that what Cox Automotive did was use Kelley Blue Book data from this recent Kelley Blue Book Q3 sales report, because Kelley Blue Book is a Cox Automotive brand.
I see.
Now, whereas Cox Automotive tried really hard to spin the data in a very, how shall I say this, Tesla negative fashion, saying things like, Tesla's share of the EV segment continues to plunge, hitting 50% in Q3, the lowest level on record, and down from 62% in Q1. The long-promised Cybertruck may reverse the downward trend, although competition from Ford, Rivian, and Chevrolet will likely impact Tesla's electric pickup volume potential. So I had to do some analysis of my own here. Tesla was the top-selling brand, okay? Followed in distant second and third by Hyundai and Ford. The best-selling model was the Tesla Model Y, followed by the Tesla Model 3, and then in distant third place, the Chevy Bolt.
What really kind of shocked me was this chart. This is the new vehicle average transaction price, and it includes all vehicles, ICE and EV.
What? I thought the average new car price in the US was $35,000.
Nope.
Oh my lord, no.
No. I think we might have gotten that number stuck in our head when the Model 3 was announced and Elon was shooting for $35,000, because that was the average new car price back in 2017. But today, the average price of a new car in the US is $47,899.
Really?
And that's actually down after peaking to about $50,000 at the beginning of this year. The average price of a car.
Wow.
Right? Great. Amazing.
All right, there are a couple more charts here that I want to geek out over, but it may take a while. So we're going to talk about those on our Patreon Investor Club bonus stories this week. If you want to help our work and learn valuable info to help you as investors, we urge you to support us on Patreon.
By the way, the average EV in the US is now over $14,000 cheaper than it was a year ago. Thanks, Tesla.
Wow.
Oh, man, I feel like, wow.
Hey, and if you hit the like button right now, it really helps us out, spreads the word to more people. So according to this story posted on X by Gilead Alper, a man driving a Tesla Model 3 in Israel had his life saved because he was driving a Tesla. This is the amazing story of how Tesla saved the life of one of the first Israelis to face Hamas. And Elon said,
glad he made it. So it's kind of graphic, and this is a family show. So if you'd like to hear the whole harrowing tale, we'll report it on our Patreon bonus stories this week.
Yeah, you can help support the independent reporting we do every week by joining us for as little as $1 a month to get all of our Patreon bonus stories every week, along with a bunch of other great perks. All right, it's time for the Cybertruck Roundup. Yeehaw!
The Cybertruck Roundup. So we keep telling you about our sponsor, the Cybertruck Owners Club, and how awesome a community it is.
This week, a Cybertruck Owners Club exclusive, the width of a Cybertruck. Day one reservation holder, Scott, on Cybertruck Owners Club, got out his tape measure and measured the width of the Cybertruck while it was parked, both at the widest part and at the rear bumper. So the widest part of the Cybertruck appears to be 78 inches wide, or 198 centimeters, and the bumper appears to be 72 inches wide, or 183 centimeters.
Now for the comparison, the most popular truck, a Ford F-150 regular cab, is 79.9 inches wide.
So to everyone who thought it would be impossible to park a Cybertruck in their garage, if you can park an F-150, you can probably fit a Cybertruck.
Thank you to Cybertruck Owners Club for letting us share this with you. We got a bunch more stories from Cybertruck Owners Club, and just in case a bunch of numbers didn't help you out there, here are some size comparison shots of the Rivian and the Cybertruck.
You know what I love about these pictures?
What?
That's the same color Rivian we have, so I can now just visualize in my dreams when I have the Cybertruck parked next to our Rivian. But why stop with the Rivian? Let's see a Cybertruck next to a vehicle which actually inspired it.
Wait for it.
A DeLorean.
Reddit user Blade Bronson shared photos of his DeLorean DMC-12 next to the Cybertruck on Sunday morning in San Francisco.
That is super cool. Can you imagine you're driving along and you're like, oh no, it's a Cybertruck. Let's park here and get some shots.
I mean, that is really awesome. And I do see a really crummy reboot of Back to the Future.
Back to the Future 4?
Yeah, where they're going to use the Cybertruck and it's going to be probably really bad. But,
Yeah.
at least it'll have a Cybertruck in it.
Let's do it.
We're going to see Michael J. Fox in it.
I don't know. I mean, Christopher Lloyd's still alive. Like, I think you could do it.
That'd
You
be
could pull
good.
it off. Let's do the treatment right now and pitch it.
Do you know Michael J. Fox's middle name?
No?
It's Andrew.
Okay. We have a video here of what appears to be a more recently built Cybertruck with somewhat better tolerances at the doors.
Although the front gap still looks pretty big to me.
But how about we get even closer shots of some parts of the Cybertruck that you might be wondering about from Reddit user NeuroCaptain? How about the tonneau cover and tailgate button? I've been wondering about that, what it was going to look like. Here it is. Also, what is that little thing north of the button there, that little rectangle? Is that where you put like an attachment?
I think so. So we got some great shots of the Cybertruck that we're practicing for the Baja 1000. We get to see some of the stuff that they brought with them, as well as how dirty they got. And, they do look dirty and muddy, but they really don't look that beat up to me.
I mean, maybe they weren't pushing it. Maybe they weren't going top speed. They were just doing just getting used to the track.
But I mean, do you remember, I forget, I think it was the Hummer. They had to pull all the trim pieces off of it when they were testing it for some reason. And it just made the truck look like it had been through a war zone.
That's a good point.
This, I don't know, looks like a couple guys were having fun in their Cybertrucks.
Yeah.
Looks like a fun job.
I would love that job.
That'd be a great job. Oh, yeah. Well, we tested out the Cybertruck. And did you see the light bar?
What? No?
So check this out. Some people spotted this, which appears to be a light bar on the top of one of the Baja Cybertrucks.
Is that factory installed, or do you think that's aftermarket?
I don't know. It doesn't look very aftermarket-y. It looks like...
You think this is going to come off the line?
They would be pretty cool if Tesla sold an accessory kit like that.
Oh, yes, it would. And lastly, I think this is from that Cybertruck we just saw in San Francisco, the one with the DeLorean. We get an interior shot of the Cybertruck Sentry Mode screen. Check that out.
It's not as scary as the portal turret one.
I'm pretty scared. Maybe that's because I know the movie, but...
I don't think that many criminals are going to be like, oh no, in the movie Blade Runner...
Maybe a cyborg will come get us.
I don't think that's... Harrison Ford's going to come shoot me.
Maybe Ryan Gosling is in the truck. Anyway, if you want to learn more about Cybertruck, go over to our sponsor. It's the Cybertruck Owners Club. There you're going to find all the latest news. That's where we go. Are you looking for an e-bike for relaxed riding?
Then you should check out our review of the Vanpowers UrbanGlide-Ultra e-bike over on our sister channel, Now Let's Review.
So, Jesse, you've been calling this e-bike the premium relaxed road e-bike.
Yeah, I really enjoy riding it with its step-through frame, stylish design, and nice accoutrement. It could be the perfect e-bike if you don't want to spend a ton of money, but you want a quality, relaxed ride with a mid-drive motor.
Yeah, some nice features like front suspension, mud guards, and a rear rack.
And my favorite, torque sensing pedal assist.
So much more to cover on the Vanpowers UrbanGlide-Ultra, so we urge you to subscribe to our Now Let's Review channel to learn more about it.
As always, you get our unvarnished thoughts after thoroughly riding and testing so that you can make informed decisions on your next e-bike.
And it's not just e-bikes. In fact, this week we also reviewed the RainPoint Smart Plus irrigation system.
You see, we review more than e-bikes and e-scooters. We review EV chargers, kitchen composters, and smart irrigation systems.
And it's not just because the RainPoint Smart Plus has batteries and motors. It's because this system can help you be more sustainable,
which can also save you a lot of money.
The RainPoint Smart Plus system that we reviewed has a Wi-Fi smart hub that coupled with the 2-zone valve, the soil and moisture sensors, the water flow meter, the rain sensor, the outdoor humidity sensor,
and the app. The RainPoint app lets you control your whole irrigation system from the comfort of your couch, or even if you're traveling and hundreds of miles away from home.
And I think that the most powerful part of this smart system is that instead of dumb timers, you can monitor what's going on with your lawn or garden using the data coming in from your app and decide how much and when to water.
Just knowing how much water you use is huge because usually you just guess.
With this, it's like being an irrigation scientist. So go check out our review on Now Let's Review to learn more.
And see if the RainPoint Smart Plus irrigation system might work for you. So Ford just announced that they're cutting one shift from their Rouge EV plant in Michigan.
Isn't that where Ford builds the F-150 Lightning?
Yep.
But didn't Ford just increase that plant from 2 shifts to 3 in December because they said that demand for the Lightning was increasing?
Now, that's what they said then. But in July, Ford CEO Jim Farley said this: The near-term pace of EV adoption will be a little slower than expected. And Farley pushed back their goal for producing 600,000 EVs until next year.
Right, because there's no way Ford is going to produce 600,000 EVs this year. With about 47,000 EVs produced in the first 3 quarters of this year, Ford would be lucky to make 1/10 of that this year.
Yeah, and this won't be helping. Ford Lightning sales dropped 46% in Q3 versus Q2.
Wow.
Ford only sold 3,503 Lightnings in Q3 this year versus the 6,500 in the same period last year.
Okay, so Ford is cutting 700 jobs, but isn't this because of the UAW strike?
No. According to the Wall Street Journal, a union official said, "It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that our sales for the Lightning have tanked."
That's from the union?
That's from the union.
Okay, but Lightnings make up about 2% of Ford's F-Series sales, and if their sales are tanking, then what are they going to do about it?
Well, we reported on the cheaper Flash trim last week to get the Lightning under the $80,000 federal tax incentive limit. And now it seems that Ford is offering an incentive of their own, $7,500 off the Platinum and Lariat trims through January 2nd.
So that's in addition to the $7,500 federal tax cut? So that would be $15,000 off? Okay, so a Lariat trim for $62,495?
Yeah, but don't forget that when the Lightning was first unveiled, the Lariat trim was priced at $70,000. That's what we bought it for. Since then, Ford has increased the price several times. So this $7,500 incentive is really just getting us back to the price where it started.
And don't forget that Ford is still losing money on every Lightning truck sale, so they're kind of doomed if they do, doomed if they don't.
Right, they have to increase sales to get their production throughput to go up to help costs, economies of scale and all that, but the more they sell, the more money they lose. Ouch. And unfortunately, less and less people seem to want the truck. So I know that we're all excited for the new electric pickup truck coming out this year.
Yeah, the
BYD.
What?
Yeah, Chinese car maker BYD just had their patent for an electric pickup truck leaked this week.
So?
It should be coming out this year.
But it's almost November.
Well, there has been a camouflage prototype spotted as well, and this pickup truck is the work of ex-Audi designer Wolfgang Egger.
Okay, but this would only be for the Chinese market.
Correct.
Okay, so I assume we don't have any detailed specs.
None at all.
Well, I guess we'll see if it competes with the Cybertruck in China.
Well, I guess that's if Tesla sells the Cybertruck in China. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you want this truck? It looks like a Tacoma to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, stats, please, and safety, and
looks like a truck.
Also, I mean, this is the truck market here, so make it for here.
Right.
Well, I don't see a lot of pickup trucks in China.
Right. No, I mean, BYD, apparently they have a burgeoning outdoor vehicle market.
Okay.
Apparently the Chinese have just learned to go camping.
Well, it's flooding all the time there, so they need something.
I gotcha.
All right, so last Thursday, the European Court of Justice ruled that pedal assist e-bikes are actually bikes, not motorbikes or motor vehicles.
Now, you may be asking, who cares? Why would the European Court of Justice bother deciding something that was so silly and trivial?
Well, it all started a few years ago. An e-bicyclist in Bruges, Belgium, was hit and killed by a car. The Belgian court was trying to decide if the e-bicyclist was driving a motor vehicle or not, because if he wasn't, then his family would be entitled to automatic compensation as a vulnerable road user under Belgian law. The case was referred to the European Court of Justice, and the court ruled that e-bikes, quote, do not appear to be capable of causing bodily or material damage to third parties comparable to the damage that may be caused by motorcycles, cars, trucks, or other vehicles propelled exclusively by mechanical power.
Now, in Europe, e-bikes can have no more than 250 watts of continuous power and cannot be propelled by the motor any faster than 25 kilometers an hour.
Now, I believe this ruling also means that Europeans won't have to insure their e-bikes as e-motorcycles. Because in Europe, in a lot of jurisdictions, you have to buy like car insurance for your e-bike, which is not cheap.
Right. And this would basically do away with that.
We think. I mean, we're not lawyers, but let us know down in the comment if you know more about this.
But it was just this gray area and nobody knew what was going on. But now finally we have a court ruling that should trickle its way down and hopefully make it a lot easier for people to buy e-bikes.
I hope so.
And I say e-bikes because us Americans, we like a little bit more power, a little more zip in our e-bike. I sure do.
More than 25 kilometers an hour.
And more than 250 watts. I like to go up hills. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I know. I'm fat and lazy. I'm just a terrible person, but that's what it means to be an American, apparently.
Hey, and if you want to share a clip you've seen on our show, but you don't want to share the entire show, head on over to our Now You Know Clips channel and X, where we chop these into little bite-sized clips that make them easy to share.
All right, it's time for our SpaceX update with Ellie in space, who is someplace fun this week.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. I'm actually down here at Starbase for your SpaceX report, but we're going to talk about some major news on the Space Coast from this week. We witnessed the highly anticipated Falcon Heavy launch, and this was actually only the 8th time that we've seen a Falcon Heavy launch. It's very rare to see one of these launches, and it is SpaceX's most powerful rocket in operation. The Psyche mission will take almost 6 years, travel about 2.2 billion miles, and arrive at the Psyche asteroid in July of 2029. NASA wants to study the composition of the asteroid, which the agency describes as an unusual object likely rich in metal. The mission will also demonstrate NASA's first deep space test of the Deep Space Optical Communications System, high bandwidth optical communications through distances far exceeding the moon, and they're using a near-infrared laser to do this. I actually attempted to witness a Falcon Heavy launch back in November of last year, but unfortunately I was fogged out, so that was very disappointing, but I would love to see one of these in the future, not just because of the launch, but because of the landing. So check out this video of Falcon Heavy's side boosters landing back on Earth after launching the Psyche spacecraft to orbit. While Falcon Heavy launches are rare, the Falcon 9 workhorse has become commonplace, and the clockwork-like cadence of launches created a new milestone for SpaceX this week as well. Here's a picture of another Falcon 9 Starlink launch of 22 satellites to orbit, but this completed SpaceX's 150th launch to date off Pad 40 in Florida. So I'm down here at Starbase, which you can see behind me in the background here. I'm staying in Port Isabel. I haven't been back down here since the Starship launch, but I wanted to get some new content. So if you're curious to see more SpaceX content, please consider following my channel, Ellie in Space. Thank you, Zach and Jesse, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks so much, Ellie, for that SpaceX update. 150 launches from Pad 40. Wow. All right, it's time for Into the Future, sponsored by our friends at Henson Shaving.
I have to thank Henson again for my shave this week. You can pick up your Henson shaver. You can get 100 blades for free. All you have to do is put them in your cart, and at checkout, use the code NOWYOUKNOW. So this story is just kind of awesome. A guy parks his car.
Okay.
Only to come back and realize that the garage that he parked in doesn't let you back in after 10 p.m.
Oh.
I didn't know that was even legal, but
yeah.
He has a Tesla with Smart Summon, and so he Smart Summoned it to the gate, and because the gate has a magnetic sensor, it opens, freeing his car and allowing him to drive out of the place.
It worked.
It worked.
Oh yeah, that's it, baby.
No.
That's it, baby.
No way.
Wait, so we're getting to see this not only from his perspective, but the car's perspective.
We got the car's perspective as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very Knight Rider.
That's very Knight Rider.
Wait, so you know about Knight Rider? I mean, that was from my era.
You told me about it. It's hard to escape.
Have we ever actually watched an episode of it?
No, I've only seen the intro.
We have to watch the show.
It's really cool. I mean,
David Hasselhoff.
Right. No,
I mean, come on.
I mean, I've seen so many Teslas with the thing on the front. I mean, and no wonder why, because this is what you can do.
You know
with
what?
it.
This week, everyone, let's all watch an episode of Knight Rider. Okay. Netflix or whatever is going to be like, what's going on?
It's probably impossible to find.
It's on YouTube, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for Going Green. So 4 states have already done it, and now California is joining in.
We're talking about the states that have mandated that new school buses be electric.
California Governor Gavin Newsom just signed Assembly Bill 579 into law, which says that all new school buses in California must be electric starting in 2035, 12 years from now.
The good news is that California has already started and is leading the nation in the switch to clean, green transportation for kids.
Yeah, California already has 2,078 committed school buses across the state. They're not insane. It just means that those are ones that are actually going to be used, 34% of which have already been delivered.
The 4 states that beat California to the punch in terms of passing a law are Connecticut, Maryland, Maine, and New York.
Yeah, Maine passed its law in 2022 and mandates that all school buses must be electric by 2040.
Connecticut's mandate moves that up to 2035.
New York's law mandates that all new purchased or leased pupil transportation has to be zero emission by, get this, July 1st, 2027. School districts can file for an extension for up to 2 years, but by July 1st of 2029, all new pupil vehicles must be electric.
Now, you think that New York's law is good? Check out Maryland's. The Maryland Climate Solutions Act of 2022 requires all new school buses purchases and contracts to be electric by, wait for it, 2025.
Seriously?
Yep. Hat tip to our buddy, Maryland State Delegate David Fraser Hidalgo, for being instrumental in making this happen.
You can check out our interview with Delegate Fraser Hidalgo on our in-depth video, The Lawmaker Who Battled for Tesla. It's lawmakers like David that give me hope for the future of our country and planet.
And if you want to know why we need to ditch diesel school buses for electric, check out our in-depth called The Magic School Bus.
I am really proud of that episode. I watched a bit of it this week. And remember, the federal government has already allocated $5 billion for electric school buses. The World Resources Institute just reported that 39% of all committed electric school buses in the U.S. currently come from the EPA's Clean School Bus Rebate Program.
In 2022, 2,300 electric school buses in 365 school districts were awarded over $900 million.
And there's plenty more money there, U.S., so if you're in a school district, apply for it and get free school buses.
That are also electric.
All right, it's time for Sunspots. Some shady things are going to happen in France soon.
Oh, like what? You're getting intel from those French prison movies you watch?
I'm not talking about illegal shady. I'm talking about this. As the Washington Post reported back in February, new French law will blanket parking lots with solar panels.
But like you said, that headline is from February. Why are you talking about it now?
I had been following this story last year when it was proposed, and I thought there was no way it would pass in France. I mean, the proposed law not only meant that all new parking lots with 80 spaces or more would need to cover at least half the spaces with solar panels, but also all the existing parking lots would have to comply too. And they only have until 2026 for big lots with 400 plus spaces, and only until 2028 for lots with 80 to 400 spaces. So I thought, this will never pass. And then, to my amazement, it did. It went into effect in July of this year.
Now, how many parking lots does France have?
I searched the internet high and low. I could not find that information. I do know that Disneyland Paris has 11,200 parking spaces. So at, say, like 150 square feet per space, half the spaces would equal 840,000 square feet, or about 56,000 solar panels.
So multiply that by like a conservative 300 watts per panel, and that'd be 16.8 megawatts of solar just in that location alone.
The French Court of Accounts officially estimated, quote, if half of France's parking lots are covered by solar panels, there will be installed capacity of between 6.75 gigawatts and 11.25 gigawatts at a cost of between $8.7 billion and $14.6 billion.
So this is the law now in France?
Yep. Now, I know a lot of people are going to push back and be like, see, French, just passing laws, spending money. But hang on. So we all know that France is largely powered by nuclear power. Mm-hmm. The average nuclear power plant in France has a generating capacity of about 1 gigawatt. So this new solar parking lot law could replace 6 to 11 nuclear power plants, which, by the way, now cost $14 billion each to build a new nuclear power plant.
So for the cost of building one nuclear power plant, France could get the equivalent power as 6 to 11 power plants.
And not would, they will. And also this law made it easier for France to build solar along highways too. Oh, and so then I was reading the law and I'm like, you know what? They probably just made it really easy not to do it. Like probably a slap on the wrist. Mm-hmm. But get this, it's a €50 per spot per month fine. So if you have an 80 space parking lot, you would have to pay €48,000 a year in fines for not doing it. Meanwhile, your neighbor parking lot, which does do it, is going to start to make money. So I think parking lots are going to do it.
Either that, or they're just going to start ripping them up, and we're going to have all this.
It's not a space; it is a picnic park.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing either way, because it's either going to be like you have to ride your bike to work. There will not be a spot here waiting for you.
That's a good point.
We have 79 spots in this parking lot, and we don't have one for you anymore, Jacques. So
where do I park?
Yeah. So you're gonna have to ride a bicycle in, or I don't know. I mean, could they make really big spots? I'm trying to think of ways that they're gonna try and get around this.
There's probably going to be
We
some
share spots here.
It's one giant spot.
Anyway, if you'd like to put solar on your house, but you have a lot of questions about it, talk to our friends at Energy Pal. They will help you go solar for less, and they'll answer all your questions and do it for free. Link is down below. Tell them that Zach and Jesse sent you. All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. Remember, we need your stories. Send them to us 2 minutes or less. Shoot them in landscape with good audio and no music. Send them to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. What do we got this week, Jess?
Teresa and Rebecca sent us this story about EVs that were prominently featured in the new Barbie movie.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, your father-son team who talk each week in depth about all the EVs.
And I'm Teresa, and this is Rebecca, and we're a mother-daughter team who talk in depth each week about movies and all things cinema.
We thought your TTN community would like to hear about GM Authority reporting that in the new Barbie movie, several GM EVs were prominently used.
We can confirm after seeing the movie that, yes, there is a pink car, and it actually is a 1956 Chevy Corvette C1 with the letters EV printed on the side with a charging port.
In addition, we see one of Barbie's friends driving a 2024 Chevy Blazer EV SS, and they even use the boost mode to get away from the bad guys, who are ironically driving large Chevy Black Ice SUVs. Talk about good versus evil.
Finally, we see Ken driving an all-electric Hummer EV. Now, we all know that Chevy is the innovator of EVs.
You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
Sorry, we couldn't say that with a straight face. Even still, I think all proponents of a cleaner future would be very happy to know that EVs are prominently displayed throughout the movie, which is trying hard to restore a great place to live.
Now you know.
Movies are better together.
Movies are better together. Mother and daughter team there. That's awesome. So go check out the Cocoon Cast YouTube channel. That's really cool. Although I don't think that was really a Chevy EV in the beginning, but...
Well, they put the badge on it.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. Now, on Patreon this week, we've got a Tesla light show. And how would you like to see two Mercedes-Benz EVs crash tested into each other?
Okay.
Also, I included a story that Jesse doesn't know about that's going to make him angry. Along with all this, we've got Investor Club bonus stories and much more. So head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. Support us for just $1 a month and you'll get all these Patreon bonus stories. You'll be glad you did. Check it out. All right, we're back from our Patreon bonus stories. It's time for the Patreon poll. If you join us at $2 or more a month, you can join in on this poll. What was our question this week?
Will Ford be able to survive the Cybertruck launch?
And, our Patrons are usually right. So what did they say?
60% said that Ford is in serious trouble, that they're not going to survive, and 40% said that they are going to survive because F-150 will still remain a best-selling truck.
Interesting. Kind of split there.
Kind of split. I mean, we didn't say how long after the Cybertruck launch. We did say the Cybertruck launch, which is a little bit earlier.
Right.
But,
All right. All right, it's time for Elon's X's of the week. So Shibatoshi Nakamoto said the 4 worst words in the English language. Sorry, internet not available.
Elon said Starlink will be available on most aircraft soon, depending on whether the airline orders it. Ooh. So he's really putting the push, really giving a little twist of the knife there.
I got to say, if you had a choice between 2 airlines and they were comparable prices and one had Starlink and one didn't, I know which one I'd pick.
Because, I've been on an airplane before and I've paid my God knows how much money to get the internet, and then it's a little slow.
What? 11%? I started downloading this thing like 2 days ago.
Elon says this article about capitalism, not slavery, made Britain rich. It's time we stopped apologizing for our past. He said it's accurate. He also said cannibalism was standard practice for islands in the Pacific, especially, and not considered at all wrong by those who practiced it. Meat in many places was hard to come by, so... He then posted this meme. Rune says, this weekend sealed the deal for me that Elon's X takeover was actually a civilization-critical purchase rather than some silly distraction or a way to center himself. Free speech in all its glory and all of its horror.
Elon said, if successful, X will evolve to be the collective consciousness of humanity, or more accurately, the human-machine collective.
Peter Diamantis says, empathy, what the world needs.
Elon says, yes.
Disclosed TV says, just in, EU Commissioner warns Elon Musk in a letter that his platform X is spreading illegal content and disinformation.
Elon says, but what is this content that they're talking about? I still don't know what they're talking about. Maybe it's in the mail or something.
Elon then tweeted, instead of knowledge, schools pour poison into the ears of our children. Dr. Know-It-All said, to be fair, not all schools and not all teachers, but enough to really spoil the whole barrel of apples.
Elon says, true, but it's far more widespread than most parents realize, as parents incorrectly assume that schools have not been politicized. Sorry, I don't mean to say that all schools or teachers have become politicized, but that is the general tendency. Critical thinking, effectively, a mental firewall, should be the first thing schools teach.
Captain Eli says, Tesla open all superchargers in Israel for free until further notice.
Elon says it's done.
Molly White says, starting to think some of these courtroom sketch artists lost money on FTX.
Elon says, sure seems like it.
Congressman Ro Khanna said, members of Congress can't do our job representing the people if we're worried about how it will impact our future employment. Currently, 468 former members are registered lobbyists. It's time to ban members of Congress from lobbying for life.
And Elon says, 100%.
Lindsey Graham says, we're in a religious war and I unapologetically stand with Israel.
And Elon says, is it possible to stop the forever war?
Obeid says, and there is no electricity in Gaza.
Elon says, I hope that electricity and essential services are rapidly restored to Gaza.
Farhan says, you just hope? I mean, you can't send some basic essentials to Gaza, but Tesla superchargers are free in Israel?
Elon says, I would like to help those in Gaza who want peace, but have no way to do so. In general, I want all humans to be happy and prosperous without regard to race, creed, religion, or anything else.
Then Elon posted this about Lycurgus, the founder of Sparta, who basically didn't attack people when he got his eye gouged out. He actually made that person his friend. And he's basically saying, like, let's not do eye for an eye here. Let's rise above it. Sawyer Merritt posted that SpaceX has launched a direct-to-sell website page. And Elon said,
it will be cool.
Tiffany Fung says, Caroline Ellison just testified that Thai prostitutes were involved in an attempt to regain access to $1 billion of Alameda funds frozen by the Chinese government. What?
Elon says, it is entertaining. Selling the rights to this soap opera could help repay some of the victims.
Wall Street Ape says most people would agree with Elon that watching the United States is like watching Rome collapse, but with memes.
Elon says, yeah, happened a lot in mid to late stage Rome, notably after conquering Greece, no mention before, I believe. Seems to be a function of extended victory. When a civilization has been winning for too long, it gets complacent and entitled.
Elon then said, Starlink is rebuilding the internet in space. And he said, to beat hatred, transform thyself. Lex Friedman says, 100 years ago today, my grandfather, Arkady Friedman, was born. He fought bravely as a machine gunner against the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. I'm here today because he survived. Most didn't. His blood runs in my veins. I hope to make him proud. I love you all.
Elon says, my grandfather also fought in World War II for about 6 years. All his friends were killed. Very severe PTSD. His father died when he was young, so he had to drop out of high school and work to support his siblings, which meant that he wasn't eligible for the officer corps. Toward the end of the war, they gave everyone an IQ test, and he scored high, so they sent him to work for British intelligence, or he would probably be dead and I wouldn't exist.
Elon tweeted out, congrats to NASA and SpaceX teams for successfully launching the Psyche probe to interplanetary transfer orbit. He said, I love NASA.
And Elon tweeted out these pictures of the Falcon Heavy side boosters landing.
Tim Ferriss posted this story about a tiger who was captive for years. And then Elon said, everyone is to some degree in a prison created by their own mind. He then tweeted out his new t-shirt that he loves. And he then tweeted out this meme. Catherine Brodsky says, my views on X keep going up, but payouts keep going down. Very interesting.
Elon says, advertising revenue on our platform drops massively during war.
Massimo says, the difference between AM and FM radio and how it sends its radio signal.
Elon says, gotta modulate something, LOL.
AJ says, opting for an EV is choosing for a better future. One often overlooked advantage of electric vehicles is their potential to disrupt funding sources for conflict, particularly in regions like the Middle East. By choosing an electric vehicle, you indirectly reduce the demand for oil.
Elon says electric transportation and solar and wind electricity generation will have a tectonic effect on the geopolitical power balance.
Eliza says, as you may know, I disagree with Elon Musk about some very large issues, so worth highlighting that Community Note seems to me like an incredible smashing home run of a feature. It works far better than I had have predicted. In my opinion, it justifies the entire Twitter purchase.
Elon says, thanks, Yad.
Elon says, car just drove me around Austin all day with no interventions required, despite ACL festival crowds. In the fairly near future, people will wonder why there was ever skepticism about self-driving. Ashley St. Clair said the result of mass migration without any requirements for assimilation is a nation with massive cells of folks with foreign allegiance, a very dangerous stage to set, especially during global conflict and war.
Elon says it lays the groundwork for civil strife, if not war.
The Rabbit Hole tweeted out this chart of Adderall prescriptions in the U.S. going up and said Goldfish Nation.
And Elon responded with 2 exclamation points, which means that he really wants you to take a look at it.
Ian says, name a work of fiction that's been as accurate as Deus Ex in predicting the world we live in today.
Elon says, one of the best games ever. I changed my profile picture to J.C. Denton during the COVID vaccine debacle.
He then tweeted out this meme. In this corner, a man who describes himself as Orwellian. And in this corner, a guy who loves saying Kafka-esque. And he says, I use both words a lot. Ken Kirtland IV says, USA with and without SpaceX launches versus China helps illustrate this point somewhat. So blue would be without SpaceX.
Elon says, SpaceX is an anomaly in the Matrix.
Elon says, can you beat hatred without a malignant heart?
And Ian Miles Chong says, nice Diablo 4 reference, but it's also a good question. Being pure of heart makes it so much more difficult.
Elon says, the metaphor works. Elon says what has actually happened is that you can no longer trust elite colleges and have to test people independently for engineering ability. And lastly, he tweeted out, "What are we holding on to, Sam?" That there's some good in the world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. It's time for Community Mail Time. And remember to share your stories, your videos with us, and don't forget your EV tips and tricks. We need those as well. Send them to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com.
Ryan spotted the Supercharger station in San Antonio, Texas, with both standard superchargers and pull-in superchargers.
Sam spotted a Lucid test vehicle driving through Victoria in London, UK.
Cooper saw this Starlink dish at the Supercharger station in Golden, British Columbia.
Bill ran into this Toronto City work crew with this Ford F-150 Lightning.
Art saw these heavy electric loaders at the Drive Electric Week.
Robert spotted this Model Y with the license plate Sparky in Chandler, Arizona.
It's Sparksy.
Sparksy.
That's different than Sparky. Daryl saw these Boulder City Police EVs at the Drive Electric Week in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Christopher spotted this Fisker Ocean driving around Palos Verdes, California.
Sergio came across this Citroen Ami Cargo being used as a postal service vehicle in Algarve, Portugal.
Chris sent us this picture of the Tesla Diner construction site.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's getting there.
Vico spotted this Hongkwai EHS9, a Chinese electric luxury vehicle in the port of Helsinki, Finland.
Fred spotted this Bitimek Robcar EV driving on the narrow walking paths in Capri, Italy. Wow, that's amazing.
It looks like it should just fall over.
I know, doesn't it?
I bet the battery's on the floor, though. And Archie saw this original Tesla Roadster in Solana Beach, California.
Nice. Thank you so much for sending those in. It really makes the show awesome. All right, so let's get to our Superchargers. What do we got out in the world, people? Show us.
This is Rance Hardy at the Jasper, Florida Supercharger. We have one place to go, a Shell station, a little quick mart, and it's a 250 kilowatt charger. There's not much else around here, just a gravel truck parking lot. I would rate this 4 out of 10 on the Jesse scale. Now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. They're Rick from Belton, Missouri. We got 12 stall supercharger installed. It's almost done. You got a Hy-Vee. This is in front of Hy-Vee. There's a Hy-Vee gas station. There's a Home Depot across the street and several places to eat. It's 2 blocks from 71 Highway west of 71. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, here we are in San Mateo, California, and look at this Tesla V3 Superchargers coming here. We are on Norfolk, right by Highway 92. There's lots of shopping, there's a cafe, and I think you should come on by. We got 14 new stalls coming soon. We got 2 more stalls over here for handicap vans. That's pretty exciting. These 2 here are on the end, so you could do a pass through with a trailer. Now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. It looks like a 12 stall Tesla Supercharger is going in Belton, Missouri. 2 blocks west of 71 Highway. Almost done, probably next 2 weeks. Now you know.
Thank you so much for doing Supercharger reviews. We have a spot on our website at nowyouknowchannel.com where you can look at the map of all the Superchargers and upload your own reviews.
So what do we got for new ones, Jess?
We got the 3 stall in Jingtang, China.
We got the 2 stall 120 kilowatt in Wuzhong, China.
The 2 stall 120 kilowatt in Beijing, China.
Number 7 in Romania is the 8 stall in Craiova, Romania.
The 4 stall 120 kilowatt in Jining, China.
The 8 stall in Carthage, Texas.
Number 70 in Hong Kong is the 3 stall at Lee Garden 1, Hong Kong.
Number 50 in Washington is the 8 stall in Ocean Shores, Washington.
Number 394 in California is the 22 stall in Newark at Gateway Boulevard, California.
Number 198 in Canada is the 12 stall in Calgary.
The 3 stall in Ningbo.
The 4 stall 120 kilowatt in Tianjin.
The 3 stall in Beijing, China.
Number 1857 in China is the 2 stall 120 kilowatt in Qingdao.
Number 138 in Texas is the 16 stall in Santo, Texas.
Number 17 in Montana. Can you believe that? 17 in Montana is the 8 stall in Belgrade, Montana.
Number 72 in Pennsylvania is the 10 stall at Clearfield, Pennsylvania.
Number 93 in Japan is the 4 stall in Nagoya, Japan.
And number 3 in Malaysia, number 5,628 in the world, is the 4 stall at Petaling Jaya at Sunway Pyramid, Malaysia.
Nice. Look, it's been another hard week in the world. I hope we brought you a few smiles, maybe a giggle or two. If you're looking for a way through all this, might I suggest being nice to people this week? A smile, an extra hug, maybe reach out to that person that you haven't talked to in a while. Thank you for everyone watching and allowing us to be part of your life. Thank you for helping us get through some really tough weeks. There may be more ahead, but we'll be together and stronger for it. So stay safe. We'll see you next week. Now you know.